Hi everyone and welcome back to Call Sheet Confessions. I'm your host Mia LePage, and today I have a very special guest. He is a professional dancer, choreographer, and instructor. His credits include The Weeknd, Keke Palmer, J Balvin, the Jonas Brothers, and more. We have none other than Reggie Oliver here today.
Yo, what's up, Mia?
Welcome him to the pod.
Yeah. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for hitting me and bringing me through.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you.
Absolutely, thank you.
So how did you get started?
So, no, it's funny because like I have like the weirdest upbringing of like a dancer. So I was 9 years old. My mom used to like travel. We lived in Williamsport, and my mom found this pastor that she wanted to like be under. So we would travel every weekend from Williamsport here to Philly. And her son, who I call my big brother now, DJ Gadget, shout out to DJ Gadget. But my big bro Juan, he was a dancer, and him and his best friend Jamin, they used to like kill it at the Martin Luther King High School pep rallies. So, and like in the living room every Sunday, every Saturday, we would just have like this big family cipher, or what a cipher was to me back then. And I thought he was so cool, and I just wanted to be like him. So I would go home after like being in Philly and like imitate him all through the house. I'd be in the kitchen, like socks on, moonwalking, all that stuff. And that's really how it started. And then eventually we stopped coming out, to go to church here. We found another church in Williamsport. And the pastor used to put me up front during the offering, and I would like freestyle while the band was playing and while the offering was happening. And it was just crazy. Shout out to Bishop Wheatley. But like, it was just like wild. Like I did not think that those moments, like just starting in a church setting and then being, eventually like, just dancing in showcases around Williamsport, things of that nature. Like I didn't think that it would take me here, you know what I mean? Like I just was, having a great time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then when did you know you wanted to take this serious?
Ooh, that's a multi-choice question. So there was like a few times, like when I want to say when I was like 11, I was a late bloomer with sports. Like I played basketball and football.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at them until like later on in life.
Okay.
So around the time I was like 10, 11, 12, I was like, like dance is it. I was the only one in Williamsport that was actually like good at it. You know what I mean? Like there were a few people, but like for my age bracket, like I was actually good at it. I didn't need to rely on like, sports or anything like that to get my validation. It was like, yo, he can dance though.
He can dance. That was your thing. Yeah.
And then around the time I was like, when we moved back to Philadelphia, I want to say when I was like 15, 16, there was a show called like Taking the Stage on MTV. It was like a reality show about like these kids that went to a performing arts school. And basically like I was really, really inspired by that. So I was like, okay, like dance. And then the last time I really had that like inkling, like, yo, like this is it, is really when I was graduating high school and I was getting my diploma. I was like walking across and I was like, bro, I gotta do something. And literally like right then, like walking across the stage, I was like, dance it is, like, here we go. So, didn't have any like major colleges looking at me or anything. Like I didn't really apply to any. I knew I wanted to like study business, but I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
On top of that, I almost went to the Air Force, and my recruiter kept ditching me. So I was like, bro, like everybody's all decorated and they're like, so-and-so going to University of Delaware. And then it was just like, Reggie. And it was like, okay. So I was like, oh, dance it is. Here we go.
Yeah, I was ready to be that person too when I was graduating high school because I was not planning on going to college because I always knew what I wanted to do. And I was like, you could just say Mia LePage. Like, you just could say, everyone else they always say their college plans. Or I was like, just say my name.
And what's crazy about that too is like, I feel like my teachers knew before I knew. Like, I had this science teacher, Mr. Hansberry, and we were taking a test one day, and he walked past my desk, and he was like, Reggie, is anything on this test, does anything, like, have to do with, like, what you want to do in your life? And I was like, no. And he was like, all right, ripped up my test, B-. Wow. Like, it's stuff like that where, like, my teachers really, like, kind of knew before I did, and they
Yeah.
instilled certain qualities in me. Like they'd be like, Reggie, like you should try to do this. Like I was so inactive in high school because
Yeah.
I was like very antisocial. Like my girlfriend at the time went to another school, like all the way
Okay,
over there. I didn't want to be there, you know?
Right.
And my best friend to this day was like, Reg, you gonna graduate with us, watch. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm getting out of here. Next year, every year I'd be like, nah, this is my last year in this school.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, bro, you're graduating with us. So like my teachers, like my senior year was like, Reggie, you should do like blue gray. And you should be like the dance captain. So I did that, and like that was the first time like the gray team won the dance off and all that. So it's like
cool.
they were really just pushing me, you know,
It's
in
really
other
nice
ways.
that you had that support, like, from your teachers as well, because I mentioned this on last episode, like, growing up wanting to be a dancer when everyone else is playing sports, sometimes you can get, like, bullied, or people can, like, say, like, that's not going to happen and doubt you, and it's nice to have that support, especially from teachers.
For sure.
Like, that's really great.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy. My business teacher, Mr. Klingerman, he just actually came to, I do a Knoebels Fright Show every October.
Yes.
And he actually walked up on me. I was like standing on the side of the stage, like, you know, I'm in my choreographer bag, like looking. And he walks up, taps me on the shoulder. He's like, Mr. Oliver. And I'm like, oh, shoot, like, what's up? So that was cool, too, to, you know, my teachers get to see me really, like, living out my purpose and my dreams, you know?
Yeah, that's super full circle.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw your first professional job was dancing with Pamela Long.
Yep.
Yeah, member of the R&B group Total.
Uh-huh.
So what was that experience like? And how did you book that at such a young age?
So when I was in middle school, I used to live in, like, around Upper Darby.
Okay.
So we had to, like, get up at, like, 4 a.m., drive to Bensalem. I can talk about it now because they can't do nothing. But I used to, like, drive to an entirely different school district. And then my mom would pick us up around, like, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And one day after school, I'm getting in the car, and my mom's like, hey, this is your cousin. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then she was like, no, like, this is your cousin. This is Pam. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, what's up? And then my aunt was like, yeah, like, you know, Pam used to sing with Total. And then, like, I was like, oh, okay, hi. Like, I remember, like, the music videos. Can't you see all that? So then, you know, Pam and I were talking. And she was like, yeah, little man, like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, well, I like dancing. And she was like, yeah, like, you can get down? And I was like, yeah, I can go. So we got to the house, and she put some music on, and we went at it. So next thing you know, she was like, hey, like, you want to perform? I was like, yeah. So then that turned into, like, 2 weeks later, I'm behind her. And, like, at the time, she was going through, like, her transition of, like, R&B to gospel, things like that. But she had a show, and next thing you know, I'm behind her. Can't you see? Won't you? So it was, like, really, like, a quick transition, a quick turnover. But I loved how she just valued what I like doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially growing up in a household that's very religious. Like, my mom was a pastor. Dad was in the Army. I was blessed with 4 parents, fortunately. But my other 2 parents, my adoptive parents, were both singers. So it's like I had the best of 3 worlds, you know, the music side, the militant side, and the spiritual side. So being around so many, like, pastors and bishops, like, sometimes that secular stuff isn't always, like, you know, celebrated. Like, we couldn't watch music videos in the house. So when we went to my grandma's in the summer, that's where I saw Total, like, on music videos, and I would learn all of the steps. So when she was like, hey, like, you want to perform? I'm like, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, and, like, she taught me the steps, and it was just like that. And I just felt very supported by her. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That you felt respected as a creative, and
Absolutely.
Like, she really recognized your talent that you brought to the table.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I was paid $50. but you know what?
That's a start, and that's a professional gig. You got paid.
Exactly.
Yes.
Best $50 I ever made in my life.
Yeah. What lessons did you learn from that you feel like you keep with you now, or took with you to then later professional jobs?
The biggest lesson is really just speaking for yourself.
Yeah.
First and foremost, because there was a time in my life where people would be like, hey, Reggie, you want to dance? And I'll be like, no, I'm okay. You know, but, like, that moment right there taught me, like, if you open your mouth and you say something, you get exactly what you're asking for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Opposed to being like, hey, like, do you want to perform? I don't know. Because now I know as a choreographer, those people who are unsure of themselves, I'm like,
Because then you don't trust them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So biggest lesson for sure, speak up. But then also just learning to adapt, I was like 14. So it's like, being 14 in that type of environment. And now there's like, I've never been on like a big stage like this before,
Right.
things like that. And it's really cool to just learn something so quick. So just learning how to adapt to and be like, all right, well, we're about to go on. You got to be ready. I need you here at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like things like that. It really shaped me and allowed me to see like where things are going to be like now. You know what I mean? Like now that I look back on it, I'm like, like time is everything. Like be there early. You know what I mean? Like you're late if you're on time.
Yes, I appreciate you being early today.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Professionalism is key for sure.
You got to wear it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So after graduating high school, what did that look like then in terms of auditioning and getting really into this professionally?
So after high school, like I asked a lot of questions.
Okay.
I think that was like my number one, like asking questions. I'm kind of like a hybrid, I guess, where like I grew up with the internet, but not really. So like, you could find your favorite dancer on Facebook and like they would answer you a lot quicker than your favorite dancer would answer you now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I grew up around like the LXD, League of Extraordinary Dancers, and like YouTube was just getting popping. So I used to follow like Aja George. He was with the Ticks on Step Up 3D. So like
cool.
I would hit up him and like Connect, Classic Connect and stuff like that. And like they would get back to me like, hey, what do I need to do this? And they'd be like, all right, well, you need to train foundations. You need to do this. You need to find an agent. You need to go towards the people that are doing the things that you want to do. And that kind of helped me navigate because now I'm like living in Philly. Graduated. I didn't really live with my parents after graduation. So like I was in Philly, like on my own. And then I found Virgil.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so I actually went on a whim. I hit him up and I got asked to do this performance from a friend of mine. She was at the Bucks County Community College and they were putting on a performance for like a fundraiser. So randomly hit up Virgil. Hey, bro, I know you don't know me, but I'm doing this showcase, like, and I can't pay you anything, but you want to perform with me? And he said, yeah. And he performed with me, and I fell off stage.
Oh
it was
my
crazy.
gosh, no way.
Fell right off.
Did you flip? Did you trip?
I did a kip up.
A kip up? Oh.
Yeah. And my hands went off the stage, and I tumbled. It was crazy.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
And right after that, he was like, yo, like, I got a crew called Monster Squad. You want to get down? And I was like, yeah. And then from there, like, I just went to rehearsals with them. And getting that first big audition, he was actually auditioning for the same movie. Okay. And his girlfriend at the time was the assistant choreographer. So I went in there, did the audition, got my first movie. And this was like maybe 4 or 5 months after graduating high school.
How awesome.
Yeah, super fun.
That's so cool. What has it been like working on a film set versus TV shows or award shows? What's like the biggest difference?
So a film set... For me, well, whatever happens on film stays forever, but you do get the opportunity to be better every time. Like, that's what I take from it. Everybody has a different experience, but for me, like, that first shot might be shaky. But the second one, I'm learning as I go. But also, it taught me, again, to adapt. Like, I did a show, Will Trent, and they had to basically have, like, a speaking part while the choreography was happening in the back. So they were like, all right, y'all got to do the choreography, but you can't pick your feet up. So they made us like take our sneakers off and we had to be full out choreography up top, but we couldn't pick our feet up.
Wow.
Otherwise they wouldn't be able to hear the commentary that was happening between, they were solving a murder mystery.
Yeah, between the actors.
Exactly. So it's like things like that where, again, like you get to adapt, but you get to be better every single time, especially if you've never done that before. Like, they're not expecting perfection. Like, they are expecting perfection, but at the same time, it's like they know, like, okay, I've never done that personally before where I had to just not pick my feet up on a camera set. So I was like, okay, let me just be full out and figure myself out. And then, by take number 2, I was like, bet, we're in there. Like,
awesome.
It was done. So that's what I learned about being on like a TV film set.
Okay.
But like in a award show, when you do like your camera blocking, things like that, I honestly like camera blocking used to stress me out so bad
Yeah.
because there are some times where I've done a camera blocking and they're like, all right, y'all, that's it. Good job. And then there's some times where I've done a camera blocking and then the choreographer's like, all right, y'all, we got changes. And I'm like, oh God, like, no.
Yeah.
So like just being spatially aware,
Definitely.
listening to what the director needs, listening to what the choreographer needs, like just being aware of your surroundings
For sure.
has helped me out when it comes to like award shows and stuff like that. Cause you just never know, especially like you go from being in your rehearsal, being in your own world, working on your artist, and then now all of a sudden you're a part of this big thing that has all of these moving parts and you just don't know, like, you know, like you don't know where the band's going to be sometimes until you get to the stage. So being aware is what the award show has taught me. And then like live stage performances, like I live there. Like I love that because like, you know, there's boundaries. Of course, there's a choreography, there's spacing. We rehearse for a reason, but like I just love the energy that the audience gives back, and you don't have to worry about the camera. You don't have to worry about, you know, like all of the different moving parts. Like you just get to exist right there. Like I love that.
Me too. I'm a big fan of it. Like just living in the moment, performing, and having that connection with the audience, seeing their reaction. Like the adrenaline rush. There's nothing the same as that. You know?
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah,
that adrenaline, like you walk on stage like one way, and then like you leave, and it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely here for it.
Yeah, for sure. So with all your professional experience, when did you decide to start teaching, and how did your teaching career start?
So my teaching career started when I was 11.
Crazy.
And it's
Crazy.
wild because people were like, yo, 11. And I'm like, no. Like there was a different dynamic. So my sister, one of my sisters, I have 7 sisters. But my sister Dominique, when she came to live with us, my mom put her in Billy Ross Dance Academy in Williamsport.
Okay.
And that's when I was still, you know, Harlem shaking in church.
Yeah.
And I would like go with my mom to pick her up, and they would see me in the lobby, like just doing stuff, like listening to the music. They'd see me going, but like I wasn't like the average kid, like that, like, you know, like little kids get on the floor, they start spinning and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, my baby got talent. It's like, no, they were like, yo, like this kid's actually doing stuff. So Billy Ross was like, hey, little man, like, can you teach us that? And I'm like, yeah, I got you. So they gave me like a little class. Like sometimes there were people there, sometimes they weren't. I mean, at that time, like in Williamsport, like we didn't even have a hip hop radio station. I don't think they do still. Like it was like a smorgasbord of music. Like you'd get country and then hip hop and then R&B and then gospel. So like, you know, they didn't have that dynamic of like urban culture out there. So, you know, I'm teaching like high school kids and they're like, you know, their parents are like, well, I'm not paying for my kid to, you know what I mean? But I'd make like $15, you know, a week. And I'm like, okay, like that's cool. And then when we moved out here, I kind of just stopped, but I kept teaching myself. And I've always kind of been placed in a leadership position to say, but like even outside of like dancing at Billy Ross, like I just wanted to dance with the high school kids. So my dad, my adoptive father, Lonnie Gamble, he put together the Kappa Showcase, and that was like my first time like on like TV, like, you know, the local news station, but I was able to like dance with the high school kids and like contribute to the choreography and things like that. And I would really say like that was really a cool building block for me because they walked in with choreography done already. But like the fact that they would let me help change stuff, or they'd be like, well, Reggie can do this, so like let's just add him in here. And, you know, stuff like that was like really cool for me now, like when I'm teaching and I'm like, hey, like if I do have a younger student, I'm like, hey, like you're capable, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, of course, more words than just do it. But like, you know, like just from my experience being 11 years old and people being like, no, to me eventually being like 12, 13, and the high school kids are like, yo, like Reggie's actually tight. Like, let him contribute. And now as a full-fledged teacher and instructor, now I can pinpoint that in other younger students and be like, yo, like, you got it, bro. Just go for it.
Right.
You know, like you got to believe in yourself. So I think that
100%.
experience has helped me pour into the underdog or the kid that doesn't believe in themselves,
Yeah.
you know, at 11 and 12, you know?
Right, because you know how it felt to be that kid.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm sure it was so reassuring to hear that from the high school students and
Mm-hmm.
have those people believe in you and put you in those leadership positions.
For sure.
And then you're able to recognize that talent in someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
that's
super
amazing.
good. No, I appreciate it.
Of course. And with your choreography, what has that journey been like? What have you choreographed? What's that process look like for you when you're creating pieces?
So choreographically, so right now, one of my clients is Taylor Dane. She sings a song, Tell It to My Heart, Grammy-nominated artist. She
Incredible.
opened up for Michael Jackson's Bad Tour. So, like, that, and first and foremost,
Is
like, my
amazing.
dad was
Yeah.
a stylistic. So, it's like I grew up in a very musical background.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, like, hearing her music now, like, when I'm in Wawa grabbing a coffee and I hear ding, 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 it's like, I'm like, ooh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, but it's super cool, you know? Like, you never know who you're going to meet in this lifetime, especially where your gift will take you. So all of these different hats, like there's choreographing for artists and then choreographing for amusement parks or choreographing for brands. It all feels different. And I think that's where you kind of just got to dig deep into the type of choreographer you want to be.
Okay.
Like I know some people want to strictly choreograph for singers, and I know there are people who really like doing commercials, you know what I mean? But for me, I've never wanted to box myself
Yeah.
in. So literally for a backup dancing gig, like that rehearsal is really based on who's in the room with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whose strengths lie here, or who is good at this, who is a more clean dancer that is like, if I'm like, yo, like I need you to do this, like who follows the instructions
Yeah.
based on that job. And then there are some dance jobs where I'm behind an artist and I'm like, yo, like I need some killers with me. So like who can freestyle really well, who can go in and out of the choreography and make really cool decisions. Like that's really where I base my decision making on booking dancers from. But then like there's things like Knobles where it's very character based, it's very theatrical, and I'm like, okay, like you can dance, but can you tell a story? Like can you sell a theme? Like this year was based on like clowns and like a big top, so it's like, okay, who can be a very sad clown, or who can be an evil clown, who can be clumsy, things like that, you know what I mean? So it's really based on what I need at the moment and who I can just trust to deliver. So my rehearsals are definitely not for the weak. I can definitely tell you that. I'm a very athletic dancer, so my choreography is very athletic. Like
Very
you've
full out.
taken my
Yes, I have.
and it's funny because people are like, yo, like my bro Manny's always like, Reggie gonna make us float today.
Yeah.
Like I got a 39-inch vertical, so like I jump super high, and he was like, yeah, like Reggie gonna make us float today. So like everything
so
is like,
funny.
all right, y'all, 5, 6, go, boom, boom, boom. But it's like
Yeah.
I love that because like I grew up watching people like Twitch, like RIP Twitch. That was like my idol, like my dance god for me. So it's like I took people like that and incorporated a lot of their styles into how I perform and things like that now, you know? So that also plays a big part in my choreography, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And doing your research and learning from the OGs. Like, what else have you learned and like lessons and things that, and how does that shape the way you enter spaces? as a creative?
I think the biggest lesson right now that I've been learning, because I love dancing, like I'm still an active dancer auditioning, but I know for sure like sooner than later, I want to just transition to being a full-time choreographer and creative director. The biggest lesson I've learned is that people are loyal to the opportunity more than you sometimes. And you know, like I've always been that person where I want to bring everybody with me.
Right.
And
Me
that
too,
has that's damaged me a lot, unfortunately. But you know, knowing those people that in the long haul will stick around with you, like just deciphering that will help you out so much on how you enter a space, especially a choreographic space. It's like, okay, who is going to be here momentarily and who's going to be here and understand my vision because they're just here for the long haul. You know what I mean?
Right. Not just for the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's been the biggest lesson that has been consistent for me. It's like, okay, because there's been so many things that I've done choreographically, like since, Lord, since like 2016, like, choreographing for singers and TV and all that. And literally just seeing the people who have been consistent with me in that entire journey to now, like, if I call them, they're like, yeah, I got you. Opposed to the people that I'm like, hey, bro, like, I got this thing going on right now. Are you free? And they're like, well, I gotta. And I'm like, yeah, I can't use you.
Yeah, it's who you can rely on.
Exactly.
Who you know is going to show up for you.
Because things move super quick. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say, like, that's how that shaped how I enter spaces, how I interact with people. I used to go into interactions with being like, yeah, I got this stuff coming up. I got this. And that was me just being very young-minded and also just, again, wanting to bring people with me to now just being like, yeah, like, okay, like, Reg, what you got going on? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, whatever I got going on, like, it's not yours until it's done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So literally, like, that's helped just shape how much I say to people, how much I introduce to people, et cetera, because you never know, like, there could be that person that you want to bring with you, right, and they're out here running their mouth about things that you have going on, and next thing you know, that job's not yours no more because, you know what I mean? Like, right, or anything, like, the job is tainted, the ideas are tainted now because you've spoke too soon on it,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think, leading with that in the front of my mind has helped me just kind of relax and just focus where I need to focus.
Definitely. And you've created such great relationships with other creatives. How have you been able to do that?
One, just knowing where I want to be, like knowing who I want to be around.
Yeah.
Again, like, there was a time where I was the only dancer in Williamsport. So moving to Philly, where there's a bunch of talent now, and I'm like, yo, like, I want to be around them. You know what I mean? So but also being in certain settings and seeing how certain people operate, things like that helped me learn to navigate, like, okay, who am I going to give my energy to, or what spaces am I going to allow myself to be vulnerable enough in to be great? You know what I mean? Because literally my dad had this saying, my biological father was in the Army, and he used to say this thing like, yo, if there's a snake in the room, why would you take your eyes off of it? And literally, like, learning to go into certain settings and be like, okay, like, this doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? This person doesn't make me feel comfy. You know what I mean? And as dancers, like, especially auditioning dancers, like, one of the biggest things I learned was, like, you're auditioning for the choreographer, but they're auditioning for you too. Like, are they on time to this audition right now? Like, were they 2 hours late to their audition that they invited you to? Or, did they know their choreography? Or how did they speak to people when they were in the audition? Or were they on a high horse? Or were they like, yo, like, one thing, I auditioned for Charm a few times, and one thing that she says that I love, she's like, yo, I want all y'all to book the job. Like, I love that. I'm like, yo, like, she's like, yo, like, I want you to book the job. I have guidelines, but, like, and that alone makes you feel so comfortable. So I think just my specific mindset on that is just like, okay, well, I like how this person makes me feel in this setting. I like how the job doesn't feel stressful around this person. Or even if the job is, like, stressful, because it happens, but I like how this person will correct you and give you why they corrected you. Or if there's a strenuous moment, they'll be like, hey, like, let me talk to you real quick. Like, hey, like, this is why I'm doing this, or this is why I'm, you know what I mean? And, like, I think dancers rely, like, okay, like, I just need to get better at dancing. Like, it's like, no, the more you know, the more you can do. So like, if you're aware and you're around those areas and those people that will teach you the dance, but they'll teach you the reason behind it, then you'll start navigating, like, okay, I want to do this type of job, or I want to do these types of jobs, or I want to work with this type of artist. Because now when you're like 18 and you're first starting out, and you're like, yo, I want to dance for Justin Bieber, I want to go on 20 world tours, and then, you know, growing up, eventually you're like, you know what? I don't want half of that anymore, because I've been in certain areas and spaces and people that don't make me feel good, or I'm not willing to jeopardize who I am for this job. You know what I mean? So that has been my mindset behind mentors and what spaces I enter, or who I allow to mold my mind, or who I give my time to, you know?
Yeah, I think that's really great advice, because as dancers, we're always trying, a lot of us, like when you go into an audition, you want them to see you. You want the judges or the choreographer at the front of the table to see you and recognize you, and you're trying to like prove yourself. But I like that of like, you're not just auditioning for them, you're auditioning them, you know, and like making sure you like the way that they work as well, and that you feel comfortable and safe in the room, and not sacrificing your values or your morals or what you're comfortable with. I think that's really important for dancers to think about, and I'm glad that you shared that.
No, for sure. And then on top of that too, like eventually the choreographer will respect you enough to be like, yeah, this isn't a them type of job. If you stay true to your morals, like, hey, like I wanted to put you on this gig, but I don't think this is your pocket. You know what I mean? Because I know some people get hurt when their choreographer doesn't hit them up for certain jobs, and it's like, hey, like, trust me, like I'd put you on, but this isn't what you get into. You know what I mean? So, you know, especially with the way the industry is changing, like, you know, there's a lot more inclusivity with like gender roles. You know what I mean?
Which is
So
amazing to see.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's things like that where, you know, sometimes they're like, you know what, I'm gonna give this person a try now, or I'm gonna let you not. You know what I mean? So it's really just cool to like stand on your ground and, you know, allow the choreographers to see that as well.
Definitely.
For sure.
All right, so now we're going to get into some segments. Our first segment is what's on your call sheet. So this is what a day in your life looks like.
Okay. So right now, a day in my life, I'm getting better at the first part of this. Waking up and just, well, first and foremost, like giving him his, you know, aligning yourself, prayer, scripture, all that stuff. Making sure that my wife and I aren't just starting our day. You know, we wake up, we pray, we do our daily devotion, all of that good stuff. And then next after that is emails. I have like 1,367 unread text messages, and double that in emails.
Oh my gosh.
But the ones that are important pop up. But like I'm getting better at it though. Like just trying to sort out, you know, the business side of things. Like pre-booking myself. Like right now I'm booked up till about August. And if something comes along that is going to serve me more than what I'm currently booked on that I can remove or like replace, then that's kind of how I do that, you know? So like workshops and audition tours with like Joffrey and things like that. So if I can move it over and like do it later on, like I'll replace it if something else comes up. So just kind of doing that. And then also right now, with being in like my choreography bag, just trying to get more amusement park shows and things like that. So reaching out to RWS Global and talking with, you know, some other platforms. Like I don't want to talk about too much yet because it's not yours till you have it. But like just reaching out to the people to do the things that you want. I'm wearing like a lot of hats right now as a mentor, a dancer, and a choreographer. So the choreographer in me is like handling all these emails and these business calls around like Monday, Tuesday. And then the dancer in me, if I'm not in meetings or doing like emails and sending out treatments, then I'm in the studio early in the morning, in the gym, things like that. I teach like Tuesday through Thursday right now, so those classes are like 4:30 to 9 o'clock. And then anything else, creative sessions or rehearsals or artist development sessions with like some of the singers I work with. And that's really it, like in a nutshell. Like it's very consistent right now, like comp season's coming up, so I got like some judging dates, but I also have again like Joffrey dates for flying out and just teaching their audition tour for the Summer of Hip Hop program. So it's very consistent. I'm learning to slow down though and like
take
pace.
time for you. let's talk about Joffrey because I love that program.
Yeah.
Joffrey Summer of Hip Hop in New York City. I did it, I think, 3 different times. I would spend like summers in New York, which was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I love the program, and now you're faculty on the program. So how did that happen? How did you get to start teaching?
So the crazy part is you aren't even there now that I'm there.
Yeah, seriously.
I was like, dang, like Mia she's not even there no more. But so my manager, Annalise, shout out to Annalise.
Yes, shout out.
But my
Tiny's
manager,
wife, right?
Yep, Tiny's wife. Shout out to Tiny. So she started managing me, and she was like, "Hey, like, do you judge?" And I was like, "Yeah." So they sent me to judge for Shake the Ground.
Cool. Yeah.
And at the time, I think I was just like a stand-in for somebody.
Okay.
But they were like, "Hey, like, you got this audition you got to teach too." So I get there and like I'm just thrown into the fire. Like I was judging, and then the director was like, "Hey, like on Saturday you got to teach an audition at 4." Like they have like rotating judges. So I was able to like leave the table, go teach, and then come back. And Lisette, that was my first time doing that Joffrey audition. So I wasn't even a part of Joffrey at the time.
Okay.
She sits in there and she watches me teach. So how I do my auditions are I start by doing like across the floors. I introduce them to several styles. Like maybe I'll do house across the floors, and then I'll do like old school, or I'll do I don't know, like light feet or something like that. And she watched me do like a bunch of different styles, and then I taught my combo. And she was like really impressed with that. So then I got a few more dates, and then those dates had other Joffrey auditions, and I just kept that same format. But now I'm not doing like the same across the floors. Now I'm doing like popping, or I'll do like locking or something like that. And she was like, "Yo, like you do a lot of styles." She was like, "I love that." So now when they're introducing me at Shake the Ground as a judge, they're like, "And new to our Joffrey Summer of Hip Hop faculty." So I kind of just found out I was on faculty one day before like the competition started, and I was like,
yeah,
okay, that's cool. So that happened, but it's been a really cool relationship. And then I get to lock in with, you know, the people at Joffrey, like Jonah and Trix and Tiny. And you know what I mean? Like it's been cool seeing how they teach and how they bring in their network of students as well. And, you know, it's been amazing.
It's also really nice how they pour into their students. And like you said, that's something you really want to do. Like Trix DJ'd my Sweet 16, actually. And like Tiny, whenever she's teaching in New Jersey, or if I'm able to make it to New York, I've assisted her and taken her class. And like, it's just really nice to have that support. And Jonah as well, I assisted him. I got to go to like Syracuse and teach with him. Like, that's so cool. And it's great that you're now a part of that and able to contribute in that same way.
I love Jonah, man. He wants to see people win.
Yes.
Like, he really wants to see you win. There have been times where he'll be like, "Hey, bro, are you free to do this?" Like, I can't do it. Or he'll bring me in to talk to boss kids. Or like during COVID, I did like virtual sessions with boss kids and stuff. So he really wants to see people win, and I think like that is again like who I gravitate towards. Like he has not asked me to do anything for like his own personal gain. It was really so he can see me, you know, or he'll say, "Hey bro, I would love to see you, you know, create a network for, you know, how you want to raise dancers or dancers that you want to book." So that's when I started my mentorship, and he was like, "Proud of you." Or like, you know, I got like my little hub of dancers that I like to hire and stuff like that. So, you know, like people that really just see you and they'll be like, "Hey bro, I think it'd be dope if you tried this." Or, and you know, I'm like, "Yo, I wasn't even thinking about that." Like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And then when they see you doing it, it's just like, bet, boom. And then they see you when they see you. You know what I mean? And they don't ask for anything. They don't hold it over your head. They just want to see you win.
Exactly. Shout out to Joffrey, man.
Shout out to Joffrey.
Yeah. So you've built a full-time career as a creative in Pennsylvania. How have you been able to do that, and how is it possible to do that while not living in New York City and Los Angeles?
Ooh, man. You know what? That I get asked that question a lot, and I believe that I am willing to do the things that everybody else is not willing to do. And it's a very simple thing that people aren't willing to do. I used to stay in the studio till like 2 a.m. sessioning, or I'm willing to teach and then drive to a rehearsal, or I'm willing to go from an audition to drive straight into classes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literally, like I'm willing to put in that additional amount of work. Like where some people are like, bro, I'm tired. It's like, no, like I need to get this done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I built my career off of rebellion.
Okay.
Literally, like my parents, my biological parents, they were like, "You sure you want to be a dancer?" Like, and I'm like, "Yes." Like, my mom was trying to get people to call me. Like, she got to see this happen before she passed. You know, but like, she got to see how things were building up. But people were calling me like, "Hey, bro, like, you know, are you sure you want to do this? Like, the military and." You know, this, it's not too late. And like, I have the proudest dad in the world now. You know, like we hang out like every other Monday. And literally he'll introduce me to people at restaurants. But yeah, and this is my son. I'm like, Dad, they don't care. Like they don't care. You're like, we are here at Fridays to, you know, like, let's just enjoy our time.
Yeah. We love supportive parents.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it's things like that where, you know, that taught me like, you know what? I'm not going to allow anybody to tell me I can't.
Yeah.
And the only person that can tell you no and it truly be effective is yourself.
Right.
So if I'm telling myself no, that I can't do it, and what is that no? That's like, oh, I'm too tired to do this, or I don't feel like driving for 2 hours. Like that's you telling yourself no. So for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove it to myself, and I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'm going to take pictures while doing it so you can see that like everything I'm working towards is like, going somewhere. Like when I started doing bar mitzvahs, my mom thought I was a stripper.
Oh my God.
Yo, so my mom thought I was like out stripping and I was like performing at bar mitzvahs.
Because you're making money from, because you get tips. I did mitzvahs too. Yes.
So she like pulled me aside one time. I was getting ready because I used to like wear like, you know, like a tie and all that stuff. And she was like, Reggie, where are you going? And I'm like, Mom, I got work. She's like, no, where are you going? She's like, you're leaving the house at 8:00. You're not getting home till 3 a.m. What are you doing? And I'm like, Mom, I'm dancing. Like, she's like, are you stripping? I was like, no, like, no.
Not that kind of dancer.
Right.
Yeah.
So now at family gatherings, like when people introduce me to like their friends, they're like, yeah, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm a stripper. Like, so now it's like a little insider, like, and I'll just throw it out there, but like I throw it out around the relatives that have never heard me say it before, like watch them like spit out their drink and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious. Funny. But yeah, so that is honestly how I've been able to create the longevity for myself and be able to create a positive household environment for myself and my wife and things like that. Like, you know, and not have to worry about where the next paycheck's coming from or things like that. Like, cause I'm consistently booking myself out and making sure like, I'm reaching, okay, like I'm not dancing a lot right now. Okay, let me book these workshops. Let me book these classes, or let me make sure that, you know, if I don't book from January to March a dance job, at least, you know what, I have like judging or I have Joffrey that can fill that until something else comes my way, you know?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, really so cool. Just lots of mental work and lots of coffee and lots of
shout out to the coffee.
Hours of being in the car. Yep, shout out to the coffee.
You got us right here.
Paid actor.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to play This or That, Industry Edition. So this is like hot takes in Hollywood, but it's more like cold takes in Philadelphia because it's freezing. So it's like
the AC
round.
Is on right now. I've been like trying to like compose myself.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you like this or that, and you just choose an option.
Okay.
All right. Teaching class or performing on stage?
Performing on stage.
Teaching class or creating for competition?
Trick question. Ooh, because you know what? I would say teaching class because, especially if you're under me all the time, then I know the competition number is gonna get off. Yeah. So out of the two of those, I would pick teaching class for sure.
Okay, cool. Choreographing or dancing?
Dancing.
Dancing. Choreography or freestyle?
Freestyle.
Freestyle?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rehearsals or show day?
Rehearsal.
Music videos or live stage performances?
Live stage.
TV, film, and like film sets or live crowds? Live performances?
Live performances for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm such a big energy person. Like I love energy. Like I love I got this saying, do it for granny. It never fails. Whenever
Yeah.
I'm doing like a live show or something, someone's granny, auntie, whoever is right here.
Yeah.
And there's always a moment of it's always there. And I'm
Right.
like, so that's my do it for granny
I
moment.
love that.
I'm not kidding you. I have one of those every live performance. And I love it. I live for it. But it's like they
Yeah.
give you as performers, we get to like can help shift energy in other
Totally.
people too. So like that live energy of a performance, it nothing compares to it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. In college, when I would go to like parties and things, I would always just start breaking out dancing. And my best friend was like, Mia, the party like doesn't start until you shift the room. Like you create that atmosphere and everyone's like, look at her, and it becomes a whole moment. Like we really do shift the energy. Like
Oh,
you
for
said.
sure. Now, you know what's crazy? I I remember the video. I think you went viral in that video.
Yeah.
I think you were at Temple and
Yeah.
you started going. And I feel like
started blinking.
the best part of that for me was like people did not expect that from you.
At all.
And I was like, y'all don't even know.
Yeah,
Like me had been lit. I think I met you when you were like 14
I
or
think
something.
so.
Like in the convention circuit.
Yes.
And like you've always been like fire. You know what I mean?
Thanks, thank you.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah,
So
it's funny. It's like it's unexpected. It's kind of like Secret Weapon. Like you see me walk in, you're like, okay, and then you have no idea what's coming. For you.
surprise.
Yeah.
Hello. Right. No, like honestly, like I would love to like see you in an audition room, like at the same time. Like I think that would be fire. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes.
I love that. Like especially in auditions when you see the homies.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like I did an audition, like a Coachella audition, and like I think they put like me and Kai Dragon, and Rob Bynes and Devik in the
Okay.
same group.
Wow. What
No.
a powerhouse group.
Oh my, yo, like it was fun. Like it didn't feel like an audition. It felt
Yeah.
like we were just on the floor together,
Right.
sharing it. And like a lot of them, I've never really got to like dance with. Like I did
Yeah.
a job with Rob a while ago, and I did like a job, like 2 jobs with Devik, but we didn't really feel like we were like getting down.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
really just like very strategic, but like in that environment, it's just like, yo, like we get to get off real quick.
Yeah, it's
You know
nice
what I mean?
when you have that dance community and you run into your friends and then you're in it together. It makes
Mm-hmm.
it so much more fun and not feel like so high pressure like an audition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a couple more
Mm-hmm.
self-tapes or in-person auditions.
In-person audition.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree. It's not this, like, being able to perform right in front of the judge versus over a video, there's a different feeling. You can't feel it all the time.
No.
through a video.
And honestly, self-tapes that's something I struggled with for such a long time. Like
Yeah.
I finally cracked the code of a self-tape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, finally.
And then last one, teaching beginners or advanced dancers? Like teaching the kids or teaching them once they're a little more developed?
Ooh, so trick question. So I like teaching an advanced dancer with a beginner's mindset. The beginners, they're open, they're sponges.
Yeah.
Especially if they want to be there.
Right.
A lot of times advanced dancers are like, they're set in their ways. But an advanced dancer with a beginner's mindset where they know what they're capable of, they know they're talented, but they know that there's more to learn,
Right.
there's more to accomplish and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I like that, you know what I mean? Because that also shows me, like, you're going to be a very humble dancer.
Right.
You know? And humility is definitely the engine, for
Yeah.
sure.
And something I've always really loved about dance is just you can never learn it all.
No.
You can never learn it all. So there's always more to learn. So to have a mentality where you think you know it all doesn't even make sense. Because I guarantee there's a style you haven't learned yet.
Exactly.
You know?
And this
Yeah.
industry changes
Yeah.
quickly.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So now we're going to get into our next segment, which is fact or fiction. So we're going to clear misconceptions up about the dance industry.
Okay.
Okay. Do dancers need to move to New York City or LA to be successful?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
And this is a testament to that. He is
Yeah.
a testament to that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't believe that because if it's for you, like, I take pride in like doing jobs in Seattle, Miami, Tampa, whatever, and people, yo, LA, yo, how long did you just move here? No, I'm going back home as soon as this is done.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, or how long you been in LA? Like, no, bro, I pulled up yesterday for this.
Right.
And it's obtainable for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to leave, but some people need to for consistency, you know?
Yeah.
I've always just had a lot of responsibility back home.
Right.
So I couldn't really leave, so I just had to make it work.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Do you think that teaching limits professional opportunities?
Maybe. It all depends. Are you willing to make that investment? Like, are you willing to get an audition at midnight if you're bi-coastal?
Yeah.
And hop on a plane in 3 hours?
Right.
Like, I came home from doing a judging gig and got an email and was like, hey, bro, we need you in Atlanta. And I was home for 2 hours.
Wow.
So it's like,
Just
okay,
got
like
home.
I'm missing the money, but I'm investing to, do the things. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I would say it all depends on if you're comfortable with making that consistent paycheck and if you haven't, built up your savings account. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So for me, no, but I think for some, yes.
Yeah, figuring out what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so our next segment is called Crafty Corner. So when you're on set, it can be super long, like 12-hour days. You usually get like one lunch break, and other than that, it's just a table of snacks. So what would your dream crafty setup look like?
Ooh, oh God. Okay, so I love lamb chops.
Okay.
You said anything,
It
right?
can be anything.
Lamb chops.
Okay.
Hear me on this. Cup of noodles.
Yes.
Because you can't have like the bougie without the,
Right,
So
right.
lamb chops, cup of noodles.
Cup of noodles, big hit on set.
All
every
things
time.
Starburst related, like gummy Starburst, the regular ones, the
Yeah.
jelly beans, all that. And then I don't know if coffee is a great option for that because,
Coffee?
but your stomach going.
That's true. That's true.
But
You need to bring matcha on set.
matcha,
Yeah.
cold matcha tastes like grass to me. No disrespect, no disrespect.
I think a lot of people agree with you.
And
You're
then
not
I've been
alone
like
in that.
onto these limit packets. It's like salt and like sodium, and
Oh, okay.
it tastes really good. So I would say that for me specifically.
Yeah.
So lamb chops, protein, and then you got like I'm a soupy kid, so like I like the cup of noodles, and then
Yeah.
I love candy. I'm trying to wean myself off of it, and then those little sodium packets, like they just make you feel like good. Like I feel
Definitely.
like I can fly for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Or like those electrolyte mixes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a Gatorade, I'm like, I'm ready.
See, Gatorade's lost its flavor.
Okay.
For me, just for me specifically, like Gatorade
Yeah.
used to taste amazing, and now like it's like nah, this tastes like really, really watered down, like juice.
Yeah, the blue one works for me, but that's the only one.
The cucumber, I think it was like cucumber lime. They had
That sounds
fire,
good.
fire.
I'm
Yes,
gonna try that one.
100%. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that to my table too.
Yeah, okay,
Uh-huh.
perfect. So our next segment is your industry icks / your betrayal list. So this is anything that icks you out about the entertainment industry. An example of mine is like net 30, net 90 payment, not getting your payment for like a month to 3 months after you do a job. So what would be on your industry betrayal list?
I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. Or when the job decides to switch production, like mid payment, like
Right.
that happened too. And I was like, bro, when am I getting paid?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I would say that mean dancers. That is definitely an
Totally.
ick for me. It's like you don't have to be mean or you don't have to switch up.
Right.
Like I've been on a lot of jobs where like I see acquaintance or
Yeah,
an
yeah.
associate, and I'm just like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, and then as soon as other people come in the room, switch.
The energy switches up. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
So that definitely, and then I don't like when people just work on a high horse. It's
Right.
like, I, for myself, like, I'm never assuming that it's going to be me. Like, I never assume I was the first call.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
don't know if you were the last call. You don't know
Yeah.
if you were only getting a call because somebody else couldn't.
Right.
Or just, as easily as you got it or as quickly as you got something, it can be snatched. So that's
Totally.
how I keep myself level. But, like, just seeing people work on a high horse, like, be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And, congratulate yourself. But when you wear it and it comes off as arrogance, it's just like, nah. Especially with,
Right.
like, choreographers, because then
Yeah.
the way they run the room is just completely chaotic. So those
Totally.
would be my 3 for sure.
Totally. And I agree with, like, the mean dancers thing, or, like, they pick and choose when they're friends sometimes.
Mhm.
Like, if you're I've noticed sometimes, like, if I'm killing it in a class, people that I saw at class yesterday who said nothing to me, all of a sudden, girl, it's been so long.
Right.
How are you? And I'm like, I saw you yesterday and the day before.
Exactly.
But now that I get spotlighted in this class, like, now you want to come and act like my friend. It's like, you're not going to be there on my worst days. You're just only going to be there when I'm, like, killing it.
Exactly. And even in the
we're
audition
friends.
settings, like, there's been people I've done jobs with, and, like, you create bonds on sets and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you might not see each other for a year. But
Right.
like, I'm a very supportive person. Like, if
Yeah.
you're killing it, yo, I'm going to clap for you all day.
Exactly.
But when I see you and then it's like, oh, it's good, and then I just get a blank stare, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, dang, like, that sucks. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way, because there's
No.
so much out here for dancers. Like, we're literally content creators. We're creating
Yeah.
money for ourselves and opportunities.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to be that
Right.
way.
There's enough room at the top for us all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So much room.
Yes.
Mhm.
So this podcast is called Call Sheet Confessions. So Reggie, what is your call sheet confession? This can be any crazy moment, lessons learned. You performed at the Super Bowl. You performed at the VMAs.
Mhm.
Any story from that?
So there was, okay, I would say this was just stressful for me.
Okay.
Well, these kind of coexist. I did a tribute for, like, Janet Jackson for the Soul Train Awards.
Okay.
And Rosero McCoy was the
Yes.
choreographer.
Shout out Rosario.
Shout out Rosero. And I met, like, a good friend of mine, AJ, and I hated him for 3 days.
Yeah.
I tell this story a lot, but I've never said it this way. So if you're watching this, AJ, I hated you for 3 days. He was cooking me in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Like, he was cooking me. Like, and then he'd be like, yeah, bro, like, you gotta, like, when you do this turn, like, we were doing triple insides, double outsides.
Wow.
And I wasn't
Technique.
much of a turner.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, we're doing, like, Janet. So we got boots on. And he was like, bro, you gotta, like, lift up. And I'm like, bro, leave me. And then what got me was he came to me one day. He one of the days in rehearsal, he was like, bro, you good? He's like, yeah, relax, man. He was like, I'm just having fun. He was my opposite, by the way. So we gotta. Yeah. He was like, I was like, bro, you're having fun. Like, I'm on stressing me street right now,
Right.
and you
I
are
thought a
having
stress ball change.
yo. And I'm like, you're having fun. Like, how is this funny to you? I am tortured right now.
Yeah, right.
And that changed my entire thing. But then along through that job, we wound up booking the K Michelle gig, and so we were like the house dancers, of course. So.
Yeah.
We did that, and we were torn between being on stage and then having to rehearse with Frank. And Frank is texting us like,
Okay.
yo, where y'all at? But we got to do like spacing, like blocking right now.
Right.
So like I was like stressed out because like I think that was my first time like having to work with two choreographers that had different timesheets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where we're on stage right now and blocking,
Yeah.
and Frank is like, well, we're rehearsing right now. And like, I didn't know how to advocate for myself. So
Yeah.
I was very stressed out. And AJ, we had become friends at that point.
Yeah.
I got over my hatred. And literally, he was like, bro, he was like, this happens all the time. He was like, this is where you're just vocal.
Yeah.
And, you know, this wasn't originally in our call sheet. So,
Right.
like, because we literally just booked that job the night before.
Yeah.
So
wow.
we learned an entire new set the night before.
Wow.
And then had to tech it and then had to perform it that night.
Crazy.
So it's things
Yeah.
like that where, like, you know, again, like, you know, getting over yourself, but also creating those platonic friendships where they'll be like, hey, bro, I want to see you win. Relax.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, and now, like, that's my boy. So,
Yeah.
but that's definitely my call sheet confession of being stressed out
Yeah,
and frustrated.
I guess what you took from that is just knowing when you can advocate for yourself and speak up, because it's just that communication. Like, and if you book something the day before and like things are gonna be a little crazy, but it's just about communicating that, because people will understand. You just have to have the courage to say something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in another life, if you weren't working in dance, what would you be doing?
So, well, I tried to go to the Air Force.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I've always been a musical kid. Like I was a drummer before I was a dancer.
So cool.
So I think I would have continued to pursue that. Like I had like one professional drumming gig. I played for one of Bishop Paul Morton's churches, and I got to like play on like one of his live recordings, and then that was it. That was my first and last like drumming gig, and then I booked that movie, and then it was like, well, dance it is.
Awesome.
So yeah, but I would love to revisit drumming again, like just as something that I can just do to have fun.
Yeah,
But in another
really
life,
cool.
Drumming for sure.
That's really cool, Reggie the drummer.
Yep.
So you teach a lot of young dancers. If there's a young dancer out there, which I'm sure there is, that wants to be in your shoes, teaching, working as a choreographer, working as a dancer, what advice would you have for them to get to where you are today?
Just bet on yourself, honestly, and stick to your guns no matter what room you're in. I would say one of the biggest things that I wish I could change is I know I'm a very knowledgeable person, and I knew then I was knowledgeable then, but I would get in certain rooms and around certain people, and I would kind of throw that away because I was either trying to be humble or not trying to overstep or just trying to let people have their shine. And it's like, no, like we can all exist together.
Yeah,
so
right.
I would just say like really bet on yourself, stick to your guns and know what you know. And then those rooms will be easier to walk into. Those ideas you have, that drive that you have will be easier to operate in because you're not second guessing, you know? So I would definitely just say lead with that. And then also just study to show thyself approved, you know, learn how to do everything more than one way. My adoptive dad gave me a saying, in order to have your way, you need to have more than one way. So if one way does not work, how can you circle back and make a right instead of a left and get what you want, you know? So definitely studying.
Adaptable.
Exactly. Being a chameleon, I like to call it. Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
So this podcast is all about following your dreams. So are you living your dream, Reggie?
Absolutely.
What's your dream project?
So my dream project is Justin Timberlake. It's always been that. Always been Justin Timberlake for sure. But definitely I'm living my dream. I had 2 regular jobs my entire life. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts and Foot Locker in high school. And like now I get to bring my family together. I get to, like, my wife has a salon in the King of Prussia Mall. Like I get to help, you know what I mean? Like if she's like, yo, I want to quit working right now, like she can do that. And I think that is success for me. You know, I've always admired like people like Heffa and Randy who they were on the biggest tours and all of that. And they just lived like they were clocking in, you know what I mean? And they didn't need the glitz and the glamour. They still operate how they need to. So I'm definitely living my dream for sure.
That's amazing, and congrats on that.
Thank you.
It's super impressive that you've been able, you only had those 2 regular jobs, and ever since you've been making money from dance. It's really impressive.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And how do you want your legacy to be remembered?
You know, I want my legacy to be remembered as someone who empowered the people who thought they couldn't, you know, as someone who was told no a lot, as someone who has been looked over, or someone who is an underdog, and just having to really muster up courage to be like, you know what, I'm okay doing this by myself. So I want my legacy to be remembered as somebody who empowered and just helped people realize that they can create as many avenues as they want, you know, for themselves and live the life that they want to live.
Definitely.
You know?
Well, Reggie, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. That's it for this episode of Call Sheet Confessions. Reggie, is there anything you want to plug? Instagram accounts, upcoming projects, upcoming classes, workshops?
For sure. Every once in a while, I teach at Powerhouse. I'm
Shout out
working on
Powerhouse.
getting some more community-based classes. You can follow me on Instagram, IBReggieO. And yeah, that's really it. So, projects that are coming up. I'm still working with Taylor Dane, working with Knobles. We're working on possibly adding another show for the summer.
That's
and
so exciting.
they're also helping me get more amusement park things and just trying to plant my feet in different areas as a choreographer, arenas and with singers. So, been doing a lot of choreography submissions lately. So
Awesome.
hopefully everything works out,
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears.
There we go.
I'll be looking forward to seeing all of that.
I appreciate it.
And like I always say, may your call times be reasonable and your checks be on time.
Say that. Say that.
Always follow your dreams, work hard, and go for it, And like my Mimi always says, break a leg, but not really. Bye, everyone.